and welcome back to the Gadget Man channel. Today we are going to finish the centering rings today, and then you can set those aside and they'll be ready to go when we need them. I'm going to only make like two of them, one of them that's a plain one and the other one that has those holes in it for the parachute ejection charge flame arrestor section of that rocket, which is important. You don't want to burn your parachute up. Hopefully I'm going to fly these rockets in, I don't know, October, November-ish or something, whenever the weather holds up. And also it's kind of expensive to go out there, so I got to save up some gas money. Yeah, and if you go out there right now, Lucerne Valley Dry Lake Bed, it's really hot out there right now, and man, I don't want to deal with that. The fun is in the building, no matter what you're building, what kind of model or anything you want to try and do the best job you can possibly do. Because that's where the fun really is, in the building. Then when you get done using it once or twice, then you throw it on the shelf and then it's off to the next project. Something I gotta warn you about, this could have been the cause from that last rocket, where all these, the bulkhead dimensions kept coming out too small or whatever, is this thing. You set this thing, and on these bulkheads that I'm working on, I'm finding that when I'm using this thing, it changed. It moved really easy. It's like, that's kind of retarded. What good is a compass? But I discovered on this compass these little knobs right here. So when you set the compass, you tighten them like that. Okay, now the wheel is tight, so they're not going to move. Then you got to double check that before you actually draw it on there and make sure it didn't move while you were tightening those knobs. And of course, don't forget to sharpen that point on there. So, thought I'd let you know that. Some compasses, this is like a compass made to where you could just quickly open and close it. Well, when you're using it, if you don't tighten those knobs down, now I know what those are for. I didn't know what that was for. But it's made to tighten it down so it won't move. Yeah, the new rocket, I'm almost done with that. I got it all the way to yellow paint. I used red oxide, fogged a little bit about on that, sanded it, fogged more on there. You know, you want to remove as much of that primer as possible without hitting the paper. So, you know, to keep the weight down, but you want to fill the roughness and blims and all that stuff on the surface of your rocket. And then when you're done with that, then you fog on the white, put enough on there to cover the red oxide primer, and then you repeat that process, sanding it down, you know, until you see the red oxide, put another coat or so on, sand it again, and then you got to get on this step to a point where you get enough primer on there where you could lightly sand it with 600 grit sandpaper, so there's no red oxide primer showing through. What the red oxide primer does is when you're sanding it, all the high points and high bumps and stuff will start showing through first. So you could see this rocket, you know, it's like your primer on there is being sanded off, but all the high spots are showing through with that red oxide primer. So you know where to keep spraying it to fill in those spots and stuff. Anyway, you get to a point with that white oxide primer and sanding as much of it off as you can with the final step with 360 grit sandpaper until no red oxide shows through whatsoever. That's real important, because then when you spray the yellow paint on there, that is really translucent, so the white helps make it bright, a bright yellow. You don't want to ever spray that over red oxide, which is dark, and you couldn't put the whole can of paint on there and make it look a good yellow. But it only took 3 coats of yellow on that rocket to make it look really nice, and then you're done. Then you set it aside for a couple of days or so, and then you do those decals. I call them decals. What you're doing is you're just painting on. You're painting on the graphics, all the lettering and designs or whatever else you want on there. Anyway, let's get on with today's build. It shouldn't take too long to do this. So without further ado, let's continue the build and make those center rings. All right, here we're gonna get one of these laminated sheets that we did last time. Okay, gonna need this, and you're gonna need the compass. All right. All right. Now, I'm gonna get out this drawing. I'm gonna show it to you again. Yeah, get out the drawing, the bulkhead. I'm gonna change the name on there also to centering ring. Anyway, the dimensions are all here, easy and clear to see. And let's see, let's do the big outside one first. And we have 1.380. 1.380. I want to be accurate. Okay, make sure that's tight. All right, gonna mark that. Put that in the same hole. Let's see, just like this, and then go boom. And there we go with that mark. While I'm at it, I'm gonna do the other hole for that motor tube thing. That's 0.562. Okay, tighten that up, double check it. Okay, you can see that. And now, put that in the same hole in the center. And I'm gonna make another mark on that. Don't know if you guys can see that or not, but we'll find out. Okay, so, all right, so I'm gonna sharpen this. That's it, blow the lid again all over everything. Okay, so, like that. Okay, that's right on the money. Now, gonna tighten these. Hope it don't move. Kind of push in and turn them. Is that tight? Now, double check it. It did move when I did that, but I could make a test line right next to it. Okay, here we go. All right, and around, boy, and around we go, like that. It's a little tight. Let me get this thing up out of the way. There we are. That's better. Okay, now I'm gonna put this one, loosen those back up a little bit. Put it, make sure you get it exactly in the same hole. Okay. Okay, gonna test that. Just a slight millionth of an inch open, a little bit more. There we go. And make that circle, just like that. All right, don't need that one anymore. All right, now we get our handy dandy center ring cutting jig. If you notice, that's not what it says on there, but I gotta change the name. All right, now I'm gonna get my handy dandy X-Acto knife ready to go. And I think it's easier just to cut that center hole out first. Okay, now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cut right down the center of the pencil line. The width of the pencil line. Just like that. Now you just kind of go up and down like a little mini scroll saw. Take your time so you can be accurate about this. This time we want all the pieces to fit correctly without having to jack around with it. Just like that. I wonder if there's a way to make a miniature scroll saw using an X-Acto blade. Boy, all I'd have to do is stick this in there and the thing would just go brrrr. Maybe one of these days I will try and invent one. After all, I'm a gadget man. 369. This is a little time consuming. You can go a little bit slower on yours. I'm trying to be accurate as I can. I should have brought my goggles in here. Magnifiers, they magnify about 2 or 3 times. And boy, you can really see what you're doing. Okay, just like that. Okay, just like that. Okay, now if you do it like this on all of your pieces, you know, when you get all the pieces laid out, go back, you take your calipers and double check all the dimensions, the diameter, make sure nothing moved while you were trying to cut it out. Okay, again, right down the center of the line, and this one's more important than the inside one, but they're all important. But this one here is what determines the skin, where the skin lays on top of this centering ring. Boy, you have to be patient doing this. You can watch TV or have the radio going or YouTube, whatever. I think having some music on in the background is the best. Then you won't get distracted. Okay, right down the center of that line. If you can't do that, it might be wise to take a scrap piece of paper and practice cutting with this X-Acto blade. Okay. All right. Whew, boy, get cramps in your hands. And you gotta have eagle eyes if you're not using goggles or magnifiers or something to keep that dead square going down the center of that little pencil line. This will make all the parts all the correct size. And if you laid this out correctly, everything will fit together perfectly. Okay. Kind of twisting this blade as I'm cutting to go around that curve. Probably can't see that, but you could see that I'm cutting around the curve. Yeah, if you do these little short ones, you can remain accurate. Whoops, it went off that line a little bit. Come on, cut it off. Okay, getting there. There we go. And there we are. Okay, right there I don't like, there's that line showing. So I'm gonna go in here and cut right down the center of that line. Yeah, easier done than said. No, it's easier said than done. If I see any of that line, boy, the lighting in here caused me to be off a little bit. Shadows. And it actually looks like, for some reason, the layer underneath it I don't like that right there. So if that happens, this is the first time that happened in a while, I'm gonna just, you can sand that. To the halfway through that line. So you should still see the line there, but only half of it. Just go around this thing, remove excess paper, that's perfect. That's a little bit weak right there. Yeah, once you're done and master the building of these rockets, you'll be ready to get a job at Lockheed Martin, man. There we go. That's one. Jaeger. Okay. Now, get our cutting jig here. And we got this one. This one's going to take a little bit longer. Okay. I'm going to cut this out first, then around the outside, and then those. And then I'm going to use that hole there to do it. I'm going to put that opening here. Right there where I can just get to that. Just like that. Come on, baby. Do this without cutting a hole in your finger. Yeah, you know what I probably didn't do on that other bulkhead? I had this blade tilted sideways or something, and maybe that's what caused it. Gotta have the blade straight up and down, vertically. Perfectly as you can get it. That way it'll cut through both of the laminated layers. Laminated layers. Yep, there's a bug flying around here somewhere. Bugs. As long as it's not a mosquito, I don't care. Live and let live, I say. But a mosquito, they'll attack you, suck your blood and all that. I'm gonna squish every one of those I can get my hands on. Let's see. Ooh, look at that. Got there pretty quick this time. These things, you might want to keep a bunch of these because they might come in handy later, and you can make those motor tube plugs out of those. Okay, now let's see. Vertical blade. Vertical blade. Cut right through the center of the lines. I should have got those goggles. I was going to show you guys the goggles, but I'm already set up here and it's too hard to go out there and grab those things, so I'm just trying to wing this. Half blind. I do have my glasses on though, so I'm getting it as close as I can under the circumstances. Okay. Okay. Come on. Kind of know you're going right down the center of that line is when you hit that little mark that you made with the calipers. You could feel the blade clunking into it, snapping right into it. It's like, ooh, perfect target hit. Okay, come on. Okay. Every once in a while I'll lift that up to see where the hole underneath there is. Yeah, the reason why that hole underneath here is a slit is if that's too wide, then this paper will just bend and everything. And what this does, well, it allows when I'm cutting, it's not going to bend the paper way out of shape, or make it hard to cut. This makes it a lot easier to cut. There's that bug again. Okay, double check that slit. There ought to be a way I could put something on there where I could see it. The alignment of that on here. Almost there. Boom. There we go. There, I cut this one out perfectly. You could just barely see the pencil line. Yeah, I think the deal was that verticalness. It's a verticalness, I say. Okay, let's see. This is going to be a better rocket, so I'm going to just take my time and make these holes look nice instead of like on the other rockets in a big hurry. I just poked a stick through there, and I mean it kind of came out okay, but I'm picky. This is a larger surface, so when somebody opens that up and looks in there, you want it to look good. Remember, the fun is in the building. Just kind of go like that. Rotate your X-Acto knife like that. Okay, there's one. We're gonna still poke a stick through there, 1/4 inch stick, to smooth off the inside of that hole a bit, which works pretty good. Rotate the X-Acto blade as you're cutting, pushing down, rotate. That way you can cut around the corner. Alright. Ooh, didn't quite finish it. I thought I was there. Come on, baby. Sometimes you can pull the blade upward. There we go. Blow that thing out of there. Oh, only 6 more left to go. Hope I'm not boring you guys too much with this. Okay. Yeah, you don't want to push the blade in there too deep. Keep it shallow, and it makes it easier to turn this when you're cutting in a circle. Just a little at a time, just for the sake of keeping it looking neat. Okay, there we are. You'd have to make a real small rocket to use that for engine tube plug. Maybe, who knows, maybe one of these days we'll make one of those too. Okay, notice how I'm rotating the centering ring as I'm cutting. It's sometimes easier to do that than rotate the knife so much. Cut down, rotate the knife, lift the part up, and then twist it and rotate it back again. That's how I'm rotating the part. Using the blade, kind of sticks in there. Come on, baby. Ah, there you go. I think, maybe not. Okay. 4 more to go, halfway there. And like before, try and cut down the center of that pencil line. At least you got music to listen to in the background. If you have trouble sleeping at night and this bores the crap out of you, then just put this video on and have it going, and before you know it, it'll be morning time. Okay. Okay, let's see. Like that. This isn't as bad as I thought I was gonna be. But the bigger rocket, it's easier to cut parts out and build it and everything because you can get your hands in there. Something real small is really hard to handle because of the size. Hopefully that nose cone won't get to that. Because of this, the size of it, it'll make it a lot easier to build. 2 more left. Yeah, like that. Okay, getting there. Okay, usually you can tell when you're done cutting it, it kind of pops through. Just like that. Okay, now I'm going to take this stick. It's a 1/4 inch. Maybe I could have used something a little bit bigger than that. Okay, and this will just clean the holes. Okay, just like that. If you're wondering about why the number of holes and their sizes, well, at the back of the D engine, if you add up all the cubic inches or whatever you want to call that, if you add all that up, these holes amount to more area. I can use a pencil in this, it works better than the back of that thing, so that'll allow for no back pressure. You don't want any back pressure. You want all the exhaust from that ejection charge to go through all these holes without any hitch. Look at that, huh? Ain't that a beaut? Yeah, perfect. Yeah, notice these things lay pretty flat. They moved a little bit, but the humidity is a bit high, so that actually affects the paper. But anyway, look at those. Okay, now you put your X-Acto knife away. Oh, where the heck where's that sound coming from? Yeah, alright. Now we just gotta clean up the mess. Alright, so. Pretty neat. There's 2 of them. Now, I think what we're gonna do is kind of the lazy man way of doing the other 8 bulkheads. We need a 10 total. You need a total of 1 of these and 9 of those to complete the model. Alright, so, you know. Alright, here we go. Time for a magic trick. Ready? Abracadabra. And there we go. Now I've got 10 of them. Yep. There we go. Now, once you get all these things made, what you want to do, stack them, and then get your bulkhead. You can still call it that. It's just a centering ring pressure block. Put that on top of there carefully. And I'm going to put this other piece on top of that one. And there we go. Now you just set those aside. Alright. I would keep those, I'm going to keep mine under the pressure of that block as to keep it nice and flat. That way when it comes time to actually using those, they'll be ready to go and they won't be all warped or bent or anything. All right, there we go. Now we got some of these rings built and ready to go. The reason why I like to build these ahead of time is they'll be nice and flat and ready to go, and versus having to try and build these things and put them and install them right after you get done. I really like this one. That's really cool. All right, put that back in the blocks. Okay, there we go. In case you didn't see, I'll show you this again. There's the drawing of what we did today. You can pause that, print screen it, print it, whatever you like. Whatever it makes things easier for you. Well, that was a pretty easy YouTube video. Keeping it shorter, I think, is better. I end up with more videos, but it'll sure make it a little easier on me and perhaps you guys, man. You want to sit there for an hour or more watching these things. Try and keep them in about a half an hour range or something, and then you can just cruise through it. And over time, these videos will just accumulate, and then you can just watch them back to back or whatever, you know. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, smash that like button. Please subscribe to the channel so you won't miss another episode. This is the Gadget Man 369. Over and out.